Welcome back to another episode. We're bringing you this from studentrentertips.com. College kids, pay attention. This episode is on your landlord's right to enter your house. Now, especially as a young college kid, you move out of the dorms your first year. Oftentimes, you move into your own house outside of the dorms because you want privacy. You live in a house full of your friends, you guys have your computers, or whatever it is laying around. You want to make sure that nobody can just walk in your house, whether it's someone off the street or if it's your landlord. More importantly, with your landlord, you don't really know, as a new renter, as a college kid, as a teenager, you don't necessarily know, what are your rights as far as your landlord's, what are your rights as far as your landlord being able to enter your house, when you're there, when you're not there, if you're on notice, if you're not on notice. Generally, as a tenant of a residence, you have the right to exclude others. Now, this is an important thing to know, and you should note it down. You do have the right to exclude others, including your landlord. The problem is that landlords oftentimes are able to enter your premises if they have, one, a good reason, and two, he or she provides you with sufficient notice. Now this notion of notice is an important thing. There are certain situations, however, where the law does recognize the landlord doesn't necessarily have to give you advance notice before they enter your property. Generally, the notice requirements just say that the landlord must give you reasonable notice before entering your unit. And generally they'll say that they're going to enter your unit between the normal working hours of 8 a.m. to about 5 p.m. And the notice must also state the date, the approximate time, and the reason. This is important. Civil code even states this. California law mandates that the landlord must tell you the reason why that they're going to enter your property. California law also states there are several situations in which landlord doesn't necessarily have to give you advance written notice that they're going to be entering your property. These situations include emergency situations in which the landlord doesn't have time necessarily to draw up a written notice to provide you with, situations where maybe you as the tenant have abandoned the unit and the landlord needs to go into the unit to sort of inspect the damage and the condition of the property. Also, if the landlord needs to make necessary repairs to the unit, if you can't properly live in the dwelling, if the landlord doesn't come and fix something, then the landlord's going to need to come in, unbeknownst to you, and fix a problem if it presents or could present a bigger issue down the line. Another situation in which the landlord is able to enter your house is if it's court ordered. Oftentimes, despite the tenant's wish or despite your wishes, especially as a college student, a landlord could be issued a court order and allowed inside your house. Now, as a college student, you may be asking, well, how am I supposed to receive notice? What's the proper route that I'm supposed to sort of be notified by the landlord that they're going to be entering the property? And this is a good question. It's something you should be concerned about. More often than not, the landlord's going to either personally deliver the notice to you. Now, if they don't personally deliver the notice to you, oftentimes they'll leave the notice in your mailbox, or they'll stick it under your door, and they'll follow up on this to ensure that you've received the copy. Oftentimes, one notice can get lost, so they make sure that they leave a couple with you. It's important to look at these places because you never know if they leave you another copy if the first one gets lost. Like we're saying, we'll discuss with your landlord if you have any concerns about them abusing their rights to enter your property. If this doesn't work, then you can formally draw a letter asking the landlord to strictly observe the access rules stated above. We've provided you with a pretty good foundation as far as what your landlords can do as far as entering your property in the circumstances and situations which California law and local ordinances allow as far as landlords being able to enter your property. If this continues, there are legal remedies available for you as a tenant, and especially as a new college renter, that you should be made aware of. You should know that you're able to take your landlord to small claims court. You can file a civil suit if necessary, in which you can discuss all of the violations and misconduct which your landlord has done to you over the last 6 months or a year or whatever it is. Again, like we said, if you have any concerns or questions about what your landlord is doing as far as entering your property, or if you think he's abusing his rights, please visit the site, studentrentertips.com, and look through this section and look through the detailed explanations as to why a landlord can enter your house and make sure that your landlord is complying with these rules and ordinances. And if he isn't, make sure to bring it to your landlord's attention. Thank you again. We appreciate you tuning in for this episode.